Greetings and a very warm welcome to the Book-Aid International end-of-year message from me, your president, Nigel Newton. I also work at Bloomsbury Publishing, and I've been thrilled to be involved with Book-Aid for about 2 decades now, both as a person working for them, most recently as president, but also as a donor of the many books we occasionally overprint here at Bloomsbury. We are nearing the end of Book-Aid International's 70th anniversary year, and what a year it's been. What incredible highlights we've had, and it's my privilege now to be able to tell you about 1 or 2 of them. But first of all, what happened in those 70 years? Well, since 1954, we've sent a stunning 37 million books to libraries across the world. Today, we provide, in this year, over 1.2 million brand new, carefully selected books to people in libraries, schools, universities, refugee camps, hospitals, and prisons around the world. Many of these people would never have a chance to get a book or have very few books if they did. So I think we can really feel that the work we're doing together is life-changing. A second highlight of 2024 was being the London Book Fair's Charity of the Year. Hurrah! We shared that honor this year with the National Literacy Trust, being the 2 charities that cover the literacy and reading for pleasure agenda, both nationally and internationally. Now, as part of the Charity of the Year status, we put on a special panel event at the London Book Fair, which I was lucky enough to chair, called Celebrating 70 Years of Sharing the Power of Books. The panelists talked about why they chose to be involved with Book-Aid International, as well as exploring the impacts that donated books have made around the world. Thirdly, in September, it's been such a busy year, we held a royal reception at St. James's Palace, hosted by our patron, Her Majesty the Queen. The reception was attended by 120 guests, including our partners who receive our books all over the world, friends of Book-Aid, supporters of Book-Aid, and notable guests included Sir Ben Okri, Ken Follett, and Mariella Frostra. Her Majesty also spoke at the event, and we didn't know this was going to happen, and it was a wonderful present to us when it did. She said, and I quote, "If we can keep on doing this all over the world, we're going to make a very, very big difference to people reading books, to children getting access to books, and it's really thanks to Book-Aid International and all of you here tonight who have made this possible. So thank you very much indeed." And that ends the Queen's message. So finally, in this most exciting and roller coaster of years, we sent books to support children in Ukraine. What could be a better cause? In September, we delivered a second shipment of books for Ukraine, and this shipment was part of our support for PEN Ukraine and their Unbreakable Libraries project, often resupplying libraries that had been bombed out during the conflict. So, what are the stats to date on this most vital of our projects? Well, we've supplied 41,678 books to Ukraine for people of all ages. Secondly, we've supplied 400,543 books to 45 different countries, to people in countries that are classed as being fragile or conflict-affected states. We are currently running a Christmas appeal called A World Away, to help send books to children and families who have been displaced by conflict. So when I look back on 2024, on the publishing sector as a whole, for a trend that has done well this year, it's impossible not to notice the success of the newly named genre of romantasy. Why is romantasy doing so well? Are people just in love with fantasy and have been since J.R.R. Tolkien, or are they trying to escape from the difficult world in which we live? Well, I do have a crystal ball for once, and I have to shake it up and look for a trend that we're going to see in 2025. So my call to action to all of you is to encourage people to support Book Aid International. It only costs £2 to send a book, and I hope that will be the trend of 2025. In an attempt to act and not just speak, I can tell you that Bloomsbury Publishing donated £278,000 worth of books, 343,278, in 2024, and we also gave cash to help ship those books to their overseas destinations of £75,000. And I know I'm preaching to the converted in many of you watching this, and that you are supporting Book Aid in an even bigger way. And we're fantastically grateful to all of you. It was lovely to be with so many supporters several times in the last year, including at St. James's Palace, and not that long before that, the gathering that we had at our warehouse of many supporters when we were also visited by the Queen. So it remains only for me to thank all of you on behalf of our chair, Alice Prohaska, and our chief executive, our very able chief executive, Alison Tweed, who is always dashing around the world and seeing that we're getting it right in our donor countries, and our other long-term supporter and former chairman, Paul Boateng, to whom we are also so tremendously grateful. So I join with all of the trustees, or on behalf of the trustees, in thanking you, and also on behalf of all of our staff at Book Aid International who work so tirelessly for the charity. I thank you on their behalf, but I would also like to thank them because they're absolutely marvelous. So happy Christmas, everyone. Thank you and goodbye.